Yo, what is good, YouTube? This is your boy Zach. I'm with Team Lionheart, representing Bemani Lounge. And today I'm going to bring to you a deck profile. We're going to be talking about Subterrors once again. You all know me as the Subterror guy. So once again, I got an updated profile for you. And let's just get right into it. I'm not going to waste any more time. So for the main deck, you all know the drill. 3 copies of Subterror Guru. This is the best card in the deck. Book of Moon on legs. Searches every card in the deck that has Subterror in the name except himself. What more do you want from me? 3 copies of Subterror Solemn Judgment. This card is literally ridiculous. It just negates activation of anything as long as you have a face-up Subterror monster. And people also overlook the Monster Reborn effect. When it's on the field, it can also negate, by the way, when it's on the field. When it's on the field, it can target any monster you control. It flips it face down, and if it goes through, then it summons a Subterror monster from your graveyard or hand in face-up or face-down defense. And that part of the effect does not target. So if your opponent has the one called by the grave and hits your Guru out of the graveyard, if you have another Subterror in your hand, it still resolves. One thing to note, if the monster is not successfully flipped face down, then you will not get to summon the monster because it says, and if you do. But the negate effect just says, negate the activation, then change the targeted monster face down. So, if the monster that you're targeting with the effect leaves the field for any reason or gets flipped face down, the negation still goes through. It's only for the revival effect that Subterror Fiendus needs to successfully change the monster face down. So, 2 best cards in the deck, and we're playing them at max copies because we are not stupid on this channel. Then we of course have our 1-ofs. Everybody still is arguing about how many 1-ofs to play with this deck. I still stand by 1 Archer and 1 Lizard. This just gets rid of Nibiru tokens, and it gets in there for a lot of damage. You want to just end games as quickly as possible. And once you've established Archer with the Guru, you pretty much have a lock on the game because Guru is always going to be a quick effect. You're going to always make sure you have a Fiendus in hand for your negation. And then this is just for, like, you know, your random spot removal that you might need here and there. Or if you just need a heckin' chonker to just whack over some big boys. So yeah, your 8 Subterror monsters, nothing more to say there. And, you know, the rest of the deck is basically just no cards. So we have our 3 Ash Blossom. It's still just generically good. Then we got our 3 Nibiru. This is a new addition to the deck. The theory behind this is, number 1, it's a rock monster, and no other Subterror card is a rock monster. You're usually going to be tributing off when they have a combination of attack and defense that's really low. So whichever one that is, you just put it in that position, and then 3000 attack is usually going to be an over to whack over your own token. But even if it's not, that's why you have the Umastrix or Final Battle plus Guru. There are a lot of ways to get around the token. But anyway, this card is broken in the main deck. It's also another thing that if you open with a Fiendus, on your turn 1, after you've resolved a Nibiru, you can normal summon Fiendus and then book the Nibiru face down to summon a Guru or any other Subterror monster out of your hand face up or face down. So that can come up a lot. And then of course you just flip this right back face up and start attacking and stuff. And that's it for your hand traps, at least in monster form. Gee, I wonder what else I'm playing. But we're moving on to the spell lineup. We have our 4 copies of Hidden City, basically. Before I was playing the set rotation package with Necro Valley and Mystic Mine, but Necro Valley is only really good in formats where, like for example, Eldritch is everywhere, and now that Eldritch is less popular, that package is much more bricky because the Necro Valley is not going to be really doing as much for you. But this is your bread and butter right here. You gotta resolve Hidden City. It is funny how afraid of Hidden City people are though, because literally, like, we're playing Imperial Order in the deck, right? People are like, oh, don't you want your Hidden City? Like, yeah, I want my Hidden City to fetch my Guru. After that, I don't care about this card. So, you know what? I'm going to just let bad players get rid of this card because apparently it's scary. More spells that we really only want to see on turn 1 just so we can get to our Guru and our Hidden City faster. Pot of Extrav, it says draw 2. And then 2 copies, Pot of Duality. You're digging for your side deck cards, you're digging for Hidden City, for, you know, literally whatever you need. And then, you know, sometimes Hidden City gets ashed and you lose the game. So that's just your one insurance policy, I guess. I mean, you could play the Gamma, but Call by the Grave is just... Konami, what do you have against this card? Please explain to me. This goes to 2 in Goki format, and now this is at 1? I know, I see your game, Konami. This is to sell tactics, and you know what? It worked, but because we're poor, we're sticking to Call by the Grave for now. I actually don't think tactics is very good in Guru, but that's beside the point. That's our very small spell lineup. There are 5 pots.
5! Three's up! 3!
And our 1 Banishy Boy. Now for our traps. Best card in the deck. There's some people saying to play this at 2, and listen, it's incorrect. You play 3 copies of good cards that you want to draw. This is a not once per turn effect. It just depends on the situation, but you kind of always want to make sure you have that negate live and that you can protect the Guru, and this is one of the best ways to do that. Having 2 of these is also never bad. And next we have our hand trap. This is also just really good. It doesn't play into tactics. Turning off your opponent's spells and traps if they play into the wrong column, that's never not going to be good. I love punishing bad players. 3 of one of the most oppressive floodgates ever printed.
There can be only one.
And for some reason, every single monster in our deck is a different type. Once again, this is no dot deck. And I do apologize for the mismatched copies of Solemn Judgment. But yeah, this is like kind of your staple trap lineup, and the rest of this is going to be kind of flexi spots. This is supposed to be a second copy of Dogmatic of Punishment. This is like literally the most broken trap card in recent memory. In this deck, it literally just says pop 2 monsters, or a monster and another card that your opponent controls. This card is just ridiculous. You can either dump the Elder Entity Unts and then pop another card, or you can just send like Sight from Lord Omega, or Fossil Warrior Skull Knight is another really good target for this card. But I don't own any copies, so you know, we're gonna pretend that this is 2 copies of Dogmatic of Punishment. Use your imaginations. And the last 2 cards, we have Broken Imperial Order, back at it again. There are so many main deck spells that are so high impact that you just need to negate them. So if you see this after resolving your Hidden City and all of that shenanigans, this is just game over. Lightning Storms are dead. Chaos Space is dead. So we stand by Imperial Order. And then there's kind of a flexi spot here. So we're putting in Trap Trick. If you notice, we have 1, 2, technically 3 if we had the correct cards, but then we have 3 targets for Trap Trick. So if we don't see Final Battle, if we don't see an Impermanence, or we don't see the Punishment, then this effectively just becomes another copy of whatever card we want in the deck. And it also has synergy with our side deck cards, but we'll get into that in a minute. So that is the main deck. Should be, it's either 40 or 41 cards, I can't remember. But got our tokens, because, you know, one smashy boy coming in to ruin your day. And now for the extra deck. This is always just going to be like pot food, but now that we have Punishment, we can actually make use of it a little bit more. So we just have basically 15 generically good cards to either summon or send off of certain things. So we have our 3 Last Warrior from Another Planet. This pretty much gives it away. We are playing the Waking the Dragon in the side deck, and this is like your #1 best card to summon off. This is you get around so many things with Hidden City and Guru. This says you can't summon monsters, but you can still set Guru if you already have like your Hidden City set up, and then use Hidden City to flip it up manually, and it won't get destroyed, because this only destroys your monsters when it's summoned. So this is like, that's a niche interaction that probably won't really come up, but yeah, this card just says your opponent's not playing the game, and 2350 is kind of a chonky boy, just to, you know, beat in there until your opponent's dead. More Waking the Dragon targets. We have our 2 Mokuba. If I'm being honest, you probably would just want to play the 3 Dragoon. Funny enough, I'm not playing the Red Eyes Fusion, I'm not playing Red Eyes Insight to Search Fusion. I think that engine is just it sacrifices too much consistency for too little power, because people are just playing around the Dragoon, or they can out it if they're good. So, you know, this is our budget Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. 3 Elder Entity. Pops all your cards. Yeah, this card is nice. 2500 attack is no joke either. Like, being able to pop something with 25 or less attack with punishment and then pop another card, that's just kind of ridiculous. Literally don't know what this is doing here, but you know, it's a card for filling the pot. Dingirsu's got high attack. You can summon it off Waking the Dragon and then send a card, so it's kind of like functionally a 5th copy of Nths, but you have to summon it off Waking the Dragon, depending on what's banished. Whatever. You got Toad. Toad's another negate card. It recycles itself. Omega. Just shuffle stuff back into the graveyard, or out of the graveyard, and put himself back in the extra deck. That's pretty good. 2800 attack. It's not bad. And, you know, if you summon him off Waking the Dragon and your opponent's low on resources, you can use him to rip cards out of your opponent's hand and just keep the pressure on them until you've established control of the game. Our one, like, real link monster is Anima. So if your opponent plays into the wrong zone, then, you know, Fiendus can turn into an Anima, and then Anima... We have a Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This is the spice, my guys. So if you summon this off Waking the Dragon, then you're able to have a non-targeting bounce, which special summons a Guru from the deck. Like, isn't that insane? Like, if all of your other options are banished off a pot, then this still can get you access to Guru. So, like, I don't know, it just seems kind of good. And then, of course, you have your Mega Clops, unaffected by stuff, 4000 attack. He's a chonker. There's some decks that just auto-lose to this. I guess now that Zeus is out, this is much less good. It's a little bit sad, but is what it is. So, you know, that's the extra deck. And then we're gonna move on into the side deck. So obviously, boom, John Cena. You all know the drill. This guy is just still ridiculous, even at 1 copy. Like, when you see him, it's like a 2-for-1 trade in almost every single scenario. So there's a reason this is at 1. So yeah, 1 Spankratops. Obviously we got Gamma, but this is actually not the 4-card package that I want to play. I just don't own the cards yet. What I actually would like to play is the Spice. Got our boy Gizmek Uka. The theory behind this is, number 1, it's a machine monster, so again, no negative synergy with There Can Be Only One, because no good Subterror cards that I know of are machines. And this is specifically for Infernoble, because Infernoble will punish you with tactics if you play any other hand trap. Even Gamma sometimes isn't enough, or Nibiru isn't enough to end their turn, but this is enough to end their turn. So how does that work? If they start with Connector, then Connector summons Dolphin, and then on the summon of Dolphin you drop the Gizmek Uka. Uka summons the Barrier Light statue from the deck, and now the only monsters that they can summon are light monsters. So they can summon Isolde, but what are they going to summon off of the Isolde? Like another copy of Connector for, you know, milling 4? Not likely. And then what after that? They go into Link Cross and summon a couple of useless tokens that they can't do anything with? Yeah, like, good luck with that. And again, this is 2250, and in this deck you can actually protect the barrier statue and also play around the barrier statue. If you have Guru on the field, then you're able to use Guru to flip the statue face down, and then like special summon the lizard from your hand. Or if you have Fiendus, then if it's already face down, you can use Fiendus to summon something else from the graveyard or from your hand, and then flip the statue back face up, so you just keep the pressure on. And then Guru, being a quick effect Book of Moon, is able to stop your opponent when they try to just run over the statue. So this is like really the stonks. It's really only for Infernoble, but I feel like Gamma is kind of low impact, or it's high impact, but it's not high enough impact. I want turn-ending cards in my sideboard, especially because we're playing Guru, and Guru just loses to so many things. But yeah, so like that's the 4-card engine that I really want to run here, is the 3 Uka and the 1 statue, but since I don't have it currently, I just have the 1 Uka, we're playing the Gamma package. And then of course, Duster, it's mandatory. And I don't have any copies of Lightning Storm, so we're budget boys in here. I mean, these are highest rarity copies of Evenly Matched, but I've had them forever. So this is like your 3 back row removal cards. And yeah, it's kind of funny. This actually does work with Trap Trick, technically. If that ever worked, that would be so funny. So that's your back row hate. And then for other stuff, we got 3 copies of a pointer. I'm really, really excited to get those super rares. I want them so bad. I've been saying for years this card needs a reprint. This is another thing you can fire off with Trap Trick. And this basically just like guarantees that you're not going to get blown out by Lightning Storm, by Evenly Matched, Duster. You just fire this off in the standby phase, pay 2,000, reveal your hand, which is usually just like Fiendus and maybe another hand trap or another copy of Hidden City. And then you get to see your opponent's hand and take away their best card. So a pointer, you need to play this in pretty much any trap-based strategy. Then we got 2 more copies of Trap Trick. And this is really just to maximize on seeing either your pointers, your infinite impermanences, your dogmatic punishment. And the last card, we have our 2 Waking the Dragon. You don't want to play 3 because Waking the Dragon is the kind of card that you literally cannot activate it until your opponent has destroyed it or banished it. So the thinking is you Trap Trick, chain when they activate Lightning Storm or Duster, and then you set Waking the Dragon. And then Waking the Dragon goes to the graveyard because it was destroyed. And then you summon your Dragoon or your Last Warrior from Another Planet, your Mechaba, you know, whatever your flavor is. And that really just punishes them. Last Warrior is probably the best target to summon. You could also do like Naturia, Exterio, or you know, there's a lot of things you could summon with that. But this is a card that you really only want. You don't want to draw it, actually. You just want to see the Trap Trick so that if your opponent does have the Lightning Storm, then you're guaranteed that the Waking the Dragon resolves. And if your opponent doesn't see the Lightning Storm, then Trap Trick just functionally becomes a 4th, 5th, and 6th copy of the best traps in your deck. So yeah, that is all I got for you today, guys. It's been kind of a super in-depth profile, but this deck has been working really well for me. I actually just won a luxury gaming 8-man tournament to win a copy of, what was it? Forbidden Droplet. Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, the deck is like, it's the kind of deck that you really need to know what you're doing with it. But if you know the deck very well, it's the kind of deck that will reward you for correct deck building, for correct meta calls, and for playing your cards right. So if you guys have any questions or if you got any thoughts about my choices, leave them in the comments down below. And if you like our content, then, you know, hit us up, give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up to let us know you enjoy the content, and we will see you next time.